Hello you lovely Mario Maker person, my name is Ceave and welcome back. Today we're going to take a look on a pretty ghostly Mario Maker enemy, the Boos. I wanted to make a video about Boos for a very long time now, but whenever I sat down and tried to come up with something cool, I struggled, no matter what I tried. Boos simply interact with nothing, making it really tough to come up with crazy little tricks with them. But recently, I played some of the levels you wonderful people left me in comments and I found a simple concept stage called Concept by Mario Maker user Mason. And it blew my mind and made me finally realize what Boos are good for. They interact with almost nothing, and that's actually a good thing. So you ready? Let's do this! The first thing I want to show you is the amazing concept stage made by Mason. Once Mario goes through this door, he finds himself on a pretty interesting platform. A platform that moves in incredibly unpredictable ways. Mario has seen many different platforms during his career, but this one is especially dangerous. So how does this work? This little trick is only possible thanks to the fact that Boos don't interact with anything. We have an enemy tower here. On the bottom we have a muncher, then we have a spike top, then 3 Boos and then a muncher again, and so on. Once the game loads, the spike top starts to circle around the muncher, carrying all the enemies on his head. And thanks to the Boos, the tower does not get destroyed during a round. Here we have another interesting little Boo concept. We stacked Boos here on top of spike tops, which try to run to the right but are pushed to the left by a conveyor belt. This creates a really slow moving Boo autoscroller stage. Mario has to climb on top of these vines, while not only the Boos are constantly moving forward, but a piranha plant is shooting fireballs towards him as well. Poor Mario, I have no idea how he got into such a dangerous situation again. But if he stays focused and climbs carefully through this little parkour, he should be able to reach the end and the checkpoint. Just as a little side note, using checkpoints after auto-scrolling parts in a stage is usually a pretty good idea, as auto-scrolling stages are really unfun to replay if you died there, as you have no control over the speed in which you move forward. Here we have a small, but in my opinion pretty useful trick. Because of their ghostly nature, Boos are, of course, able to move through walls. We use this here to create a small wall jump challenge for Plumber. The Boos move horizontally and Mario has to time his wall jumps extremely careful if he wants to reach the saving exit door alive. Hooray! But Boos are not only able to move through walls, they move through every solid element in Super Mario Maker. Here we use this to create terrifying walking wiggle legs. The jump height of the Goomba shoes is limited because of the spikies here. Mario would prefer to reach the exit without interacting with the spikes or saw blades. His best chance to do so is by manipulating the Boo shoes positions. Whenever he's to the right of a leg, the leg will jump to the right, and vice versa. No Boo video would be complete without the oldest Boo trick in Super Mario Maker, the Flying Boo platform. Here we stacked power blocks on top of a flying Boo. Mario is able to manipulate the Boo's position by showing him his back. We use a flying Boo here because it takes winged Boos longer to start their flight, but once they started, they move way faster. And now, from our ongoing series, what is the most complicated way to trigger a piece which I proudly present? The Boo solution. Here we have another really cool little idea. I found this idea while playing through some of your courses as well. It's part of a stage called Tips, Tricks and Ideas with Goombas, made by Mario Maker user Josef. Josef created jumping boulders in an underground stage by putting Boos on top of Goombas. The Goombas are shot into the air by a note block launcher on tracks and then they bounce around and try to crush Mario. I really like this idea for being really cool while being super simple. And now Mario finds himself in the middle of a ghost house and in the middle of an absurdly huge shoe. There is nothing here but a pit and a locked door. What dangerous challenge awaits Mario at the bottom of this pit? Is it a boss fight? Is it a horrible creature shooting fireballs? Or a really rewarding reward room? His only chance to find out is by throwing himself into the pit. Well, it's hundreds of boos. Mario would be in incredible trouble, wasn't it, for his best friend, the winged stiletto. While boos can go through everything solid, a stiletto is too much for them to ignore. Together with his mighty shoe, Mario is able to crush the boos. But our plumber still needs to find the exit key, as his boo dumping options become limited quickly. Luckily, the boo circles contain a key each, so if Mario kills all the boos of one circle, he's rewarded with a key and allowed to leave this trap, as long as he leaves his beloved shoe behind. If you put boos on the top or the bottom of a solid tile, they decide to change their behavior and turn into stretches. Here we use this to create a small minigame. Our plumber has to wait for the P-switch to get triggered, while he has to evade all the dangerous ghosts on the walls. Once he's able to leave this area, he has to survive some tricky jumps on top of small haunted pillars. We use power blocks here to limit the movement options of the boos, so that we are able to control exactly where they spawn. Interestingly, not all solid blocks turn boos into stretches. If you put a boo on top of a node block, for example, he becomes a stretch. But if you put one on top of a semi-solid platform, he doesn't. All the blocks to the left can be used to limit the movement options of stretches. Here we have a small puzzle featuring stretches and boos. Mario is trapped in this little room. All he has to escape the room is a spring. He needs to get the key the small stretch on the left is carrying, but in order to reach him he needs to get the spring there. Luckily, dropping this spring into the boo tower activates a spring duplication machine, and he's able to carry one of the two springs to the left now. Once Mario carried the human-sized trampoline to the stretch, he has to time his jumps careful. If Mario hits a node block while a stretch is on top of it, the stretch will die. But this requires a lot of timing and is actually easier said than done. Hooray! But jumping on a block below them is not the only way to kill a stretch. There's actually a little mechanic to kill them not a lot of people know about. Mario is in an escape the room situation again. This time the room is empty except for a stretch and the P-switch. Triggering the P-switch does not kill the stretch, who is carrying the exit key. But how should Mario escape? Well, if you put an item on a stretch the moment he leaves the ground, he will be killed. For our next idea, we use the cool trick found by Mason again. Mario is once again on top of a rotating platform. This time he has to survive until a P-switch is triggered and the platform is below the door. But surviving this long is no easy task for our plumber. Not only is the platform coming dangerously close to saw blades, there are cycling cannons as well, shooting cannonballs towards Mario. And now, it's time to take a look on my favorite boo idea. There's a new attraction in Bowser's Adventure World. A really terrifying attraction. A ghost train. Once Mario bought his ticket, he's placed on top of this boo train and waits for the ride to start. There are bullet blasters shooting towards him so that he does not become bored while waiting. And then, the funny ride begins. In case you were wondering how this works, the boos are stacked on top of munchers, which are pushed to the left by conveyor belts. Oh, and there's a super small glitch I almost forgot to show you. If a muncher gets pushed by a spring and has a boo on its head, the muncher suddenly forgets that he's solid and is able to move through one-way doors. And that's it for today and for boos. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave me a thumbs up, and maybe you feel especially non-interactive today and want to hit the subscribe button as well. I hope you have a wonderful day and to see you soon. Goodbye.